Okay, I'm in front of the Old Homestead. This is one of my favorite New York City steakhouses. It's been here since 1868. I love places that have been around longer than me, and a place that's been around 100 years longer than me has got to have a lot of history. However, this place is also known for kind of revolutionizing things. They were the first guys to bring Kobe beef to a New York City steakhouse. These guys have a steak that they claim is better than the Kobe they used to sell back in the 90s. So I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna talk to executive chef and owner Greg Sherry. We're gonna find out what's going on with this super Wagyu that he has in store for us. Ready?
It's a Rolls Royce compared to the Kobe that we used to have.
So tell me how you prepare it. What led you to decide, okay, you know what, I'm just going to serve this like a Western
Very
steak?
simple. I didn't want to take the tradition of an American steakhouse too far to the left. I wanted to keep it centered. I wanted to give them some Japanese flavor, but yet I wanted to make sure they knew they were in a steakhouse. The way we prepare it is very simple. No more than medium rare. There are people that want it rare, but I recommend medium rare, and we put it over some vegetables, a dash of salt and pepper. That's it.
So I've been to Japan a few times and I've had a lot of Wagyu there. This is not a way you would typically find beef served in Japan. It would always be sliced thinly, you know, so it's these delicate little pieces of beef. This is what America does best. It takes something that's logical and makes sense and takes it to this extreme. This is more Wagyu than 4 or 5 people would probably eat at a dinner in Japan. But of course here, we serve it for one because that's how we do things. It feels so different just moving it around the plate, like it really has a jiggle to it. Wow, ooh, nice crust on the outside. You can see it kind of shear off. Okay, I'm gonna take a first bite. Wow, oh my God. You can feel the fat. Now, if you look at this steak, you can see it really is rare, but it's warmed through, and the fat, you can see it's totally melted. So it has totally emulsified, even though you can still see some of the marbling right there. Wow, that's a profound flavor. I associate delicacy more with Wagyu, and then that incredible richness. This is much more like an upfront punch of like Maillard steakhouse flavor, followed by these sort of crescendos and waves of richness and flavor, and it's got a butteriness to it that American beef doesn't really have. Now this has a A5 grade with a marbling score of 10, which is among the highest grades you can get in Japanese beef. It really does develop a mouthfeel and a suppleness that you don't get from lower grade beef. It's not that those things can't be delicious, it's just that this thing has a particular quality that is really prized in Japan, and once you've eaten it here, you'll know why it's prized here as well. The elephant in the room is always the price. Can a steak be worth $350? Well, to me, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And if you are a carnivore and if you want to taste the best out there, that unfortunately costs money. Sometimes you can find Nirvana in a 99-cent cheeseburger. Sometimes it's a $350 steak. I wish I could afford this on a regular basis, but I will cherish this moment between me and the steak and you lovely folk out there forever. Thanks very much for watching. I'm going to attempt to eat another bite of this, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Meat Show.